Welcome to the Nice Hair Podcast. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Haley.
We are two girls committed to being nice,
To hair and business.
and to keeping it real. I said on that one episode in my writer, it would be diaphragm.
You did say that. You really did. Oh, yeah. Hey, guys.
What up?
What up, yo?
Sorry.
If you're watching us on YouTube, which if you're not, you should. Because then you just feel like you're actually hanging out with us. Hi. You're like sitting across the table. It's kind of like we're talking, having coffee. Hannah's eating a snack. We'll probably take some selfies. It's literally just a hangout sesh. So go watch us on YouTube. But if you watched our episode last week, we don't just wear the same clothes every single week. We just record multiple episodes at a time. So we're not horrible outfit repeaters. We're just trying to be efficient with our time because, like, we're busy. You know?
Dylan, what's the thing called when the action clapper?
Yeah, aren't we going to get one of those?
That's called a slate. And yes, we are going to get one.
I'm going to order one right now.
So are we going to write our name on it? Are we going to, like, write Nice Hair Podcast
No,
on
it's
it?
going to say Haley on it.
The front of them are typically dry erase boards. And they have spaces for, like, scene one, take one. There you go. That's it right
Act 1. How much are they? I'm curious.
Dang, this one's $40.
What?
No,
Wait,
just kidding.
I thought they were
$12.
I thought they were chalkboards, or was that like
there.
the old school ones?
there.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I want
old school.
an old school one.
I know. I think we should have an old school one,
Same.
right?
Yes. That's why they're called slate. They're
So,
slate. Today we're talking about branding.
yeah, and actually, I think you should be a contributor in our conversation today, Dylan.
Dylan's very knowledgeable about this. Yeah, go ahead and keep your mic up.
Yeah,
Okay.
and because we've said it before, everybody loves Dylan.
Dylan.
My mom's a Dylan fan.
Dylan.
Bring her in.
Bring her in.
She also did say, she's like, I really think you guys talk about me so much that I should be one of your guests.
Your mom.
I was like, okay, Christine. A little
Okay,
sassy.
Christine.
I know, but she could come on and talk about the vineyard.
Absolutely. Here we go.
That'd be cool.
I found a slate.
If my brother FaceTimes me, I have to answer. He's potentially buying me a pair of cowboy boots in Nashville.
Wonderful.
I know. He's really nice.
I don't picture your brand with cowboy boots.
Here's the thing. It's not, but I appreciate a good pair of cowboy boots in the fall.
It's okay to be off-brand sometimes, too.
Yeah, well, I told him this is what I was specifically looking for in a pair of cowboy boots, and then I think you'll understand my brand with these cowboy boots. Black snakeskin pointy toe cowboy boots.
Okay, that's on brand for you.
It absolutely is.
So let's talk about what brand or being on brand means, or branding yourself.
Okay, we were just talking about this a little bit. I think I unintentionally branded myself, but I think if you're going to brand yourself, you should be intentional about it.
No, I think there's such thing as trying too hard. Because I think
that's true.
I came about branding sexy to me. So I was like all excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to brand myself. Like, what 4 colors do I need? Should I and that's how I think of things because I'm visual. I think as I was like,
She thinks in pictures, like we said last time.
yes, I also think in very definitive terms. So like I want things to be defined. So I like want to know for myself, like if I'm a brand as a person, like I have to do this, this, and this, and this has to fit in the box. And then like I struggled with that for years. And then I was finally like, man, like this is very constricting and it's not working.
Yeah.
So then I was like, maybe I should just like lay off the branding for a while. And then organically, I think my brand came about.
Yeah.
But and a brand is just who you are, especially if you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And I think as somebody who is an entrepreneur, like obviously if you own your own salon, you're going to brand your salon. But then I also think within that you can brand yourself, which is kind of what Hannah and I have essentially done. We've more or less each of ourselves are our brand. But then when we decided to start a podcast, Dylan was, I would kind of say, a huge contributor to helping us build our Nice Hair podcast brand.
The first time Dylan and I met, he didn't have like any concept of how we wanted this to go, and neither did we, to be quite honest.
Okay,
I just had an idea.
Zero clue. Hannah had an idea, and I was basically just like riding her coattails.
Yeah, but Haley was like a part of it in my mind. So like, and that's what's fun about
so fun and nice.
Yeah, that's what's so fun about our brand, though, is like it's very natural and organic because it was just like an idea. But I sat down with Dylan, and Dylan was like, okay, Dylan comes from a background that is like cinema and photography based. So he's like to the extreme version of like visual. And he was like, this is how you go about doing this. Like, you do want to pick a color scheme, but also you want to think about like just all different kinds of things. Like how, especially in a visual aspect, like how things move about within a space, or like how clear or blurred pictures are, or how whatever. And I was like, whoa, like Dylan knew so much. But he helped me kind of narrow down, like picking out, Dylan gave me a really useful tool, which is if you get on Instagram or just on Google and you Google like, what is it called?
Color palettes.
Color palettes, like cinema color palettes. It'll show you a nice variety of like anywhere from like 5 to 10 colors. And they generally use like movies as examples. But if you are looking for like a starting point for a visual branding aspect, that's a good place to start because it kind of does give you an idea of what you're drawn towards and what you're not drawn towards. Yeah.
Yeah. Color has a lot of psychological effects on people. And it's a very quick and easy way to convey tone and mood. So if you pay attention to the background of our set we have here.
If you're watching, again, on YouTube.
Which you should be.
We have this nice soft pink light that lets people feel comforting and like, you know, this is a fun, safe, soft environment.
Feminine, yeah. So like we have like red and pink is red's kind of a strong, like powerful color, and then pink's like kind of a feminine, inviting color. Like, so I think like Dylan was saying, there's a lot of like underlying like emotions and psychological things that go into branding yourself. But branding yourself is not just picking a color palette, which is what I thought for years. I was like, so why aren't things coming together? Because like I like pink, okay?
And I like black.
Yeah.
So,
but then I realized like you have to like talk about stuff and like voice your opinion. You have to become vulnerable and show people who you really are.
To keep with the cinema theme that I was just talking about, it's more than a color palette. You also have to think about set design and blocking and how you're gonna, like you were saying, move a camera in a space. So that can apply to your life by, you know, what you talk about, what you wear, what you show people is. It all becomes your brand.
So, or even if I think about Haley, hold on for a second. Haley's videos on her Instagram are always very close in her face, and you don't see a whole lot of like what's going on in the background. Like
that's because I like to be the center of attention.
Yeah, well, but that's very on brand for you. Like, and I do a little bit of both. Sometimes I'll hold the camera. Sometimes I have it like propped up on something. But like when I think of Haley's branding, like I know it's like kind of in her face, focused on her, direct to the point, which is kind of like how your color scheme is. Like you don't wear a whole lot of color. You don't wear a ton of like jewelry or like crazy stuff
simple.
Like that. So it's just ultimately
Basic.
about being who you are and then letting that represent your work.
And like it's kind of too embracing, especially if you as a person are becoming your brand. You basically just have to like know all your favorite things and be comfortable sharing those.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think a lot of times, like you said, branding can be way overthought.
Oh my gosh.
In the aspect, I feel differently in like how we very intentionally with our podcast set a brand. So, but I think for us as like an individual person, I mean, it's essentially how you're presenting yourself to the world. like Hannah said, like I like neutral colors, specifically black, white, and gray. I mean, anybody that has followed along my social media, they know my interests, at least the ones that I share about. And that's all a part of my brand. And so...
And it's very authentic and unique to you.
Yes, 100%. Where like for you, I think of like prints. I think of like cheetah print
I'm
and
a lot more
floral and pinks are so you, like just so colorful, but also soft. That's part of just who you are.
Yeah, I identify with like a lot of like boho, like bohemian or like feminine.
Where I'm
things.
not at all.
Yeah.
I would say mine's like more edgy,
Yeah.
sporty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're wearing a baseball hat right
You're
now.
edgy,
so.
sporty spice.
Yeah.
Like if I had a baseball hat on, it would be like
Cheetah print.
pink or cheetah print. Yeah. But
Mine are
that's
all black.
But you have
I
to
don't
do
own
what like
any other color hat.
No, and that's you. You have to do what feels right because number one, people don't want to see you being phony.
Yeah.
And number two, it's like distracting to you, I think, when you're like,
I think when you're trying to be something that you're not with your brand, you're uncomfortable.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Truly, like you feel weird. Like if
It's like putting on an outfit that you like know. Like
it's
today
like
I wore
so
black
far out of your box.
I wore black and white, but I have like these bright yellow, like tassely
Let me
like
see. Oh, your beautiful hair's in the way. I couldn't even see
Show
them.
the camera.
I have these like
show
bright
the
yellow
tube.
tassely like fringy earrings on because in my mind I'm like too much black and white. I have to have like a pop of color, like, and that's like very me. Like
I had on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That was
No,
so
no, no.
rude.
I do it all the time. It's fine.
It was like the first day that it officially felt like fall. I think the high was like 65 or something. And we were, I think, going to my brother's football game. I had on black combat boots, black leggings, a black off-the-shoulder sweatshirt, my black nails, my black purse. And
Black eyelashes.
I walked in to my parents' house, and my brother and Ava were both like, I've never seen you look more like yourself than right now. Like, that's just,
They're like, "Are you okay?" Oh wait, this is you.
yeah, like you're thriving right now in your all black everything. It's just,
and you feel good.
yeah, it's like your power. That's like my power outfit, all black.
Yeah. So I mean, branding is just if you take it into like a business space though.
Yeah, I think we should
a
talk
little
about
different.
how, and like talk about what Dylan's helped us do with the podcast, just because like I had no idea, honestly, when you guys were like, let's figure out our brand and like our color scheme. I was like, I mean, that kind of stuff.
Haley's like, I don't like color.
So I was like, you guys pick. Like,
I was like, okay.
but it all does like tie together, and like even just when we're posting on Instagram and like when we talk like Nice Hair Podcast, like we'll change like the font of just like our stories and that kind of stuff, just to, because then you like see those colors and you're like, where did I see that from? Like it's all a part of like triggering something in your brain that's going to make you think of, oh, when I see like a bold red and a soft pink, I'm going to think Nice Hair Podcast.
Yeah, and it's about being consistent and recognizable too. And I think I was drawn to those colors. Actually, originally, I wanted pink and yellow, and Dylan was like, "No, I think you should pick another color."
Wasn't
'Cause
it
I hate
Grant?
red.
Was it Grant or Dylan? Who said that?
Maybe it was Grant.
Dylan did?
Yeah, no, it was
Maybe
Dylan.
it was both.
No, it was Dylan.
Dylan?
Because I came to you with
Grant-
yellow and pink, and you're like, "That's not gonna work."
Grant
I was
made our
like,
logo.
Dylan acts like he knows stuff. And
But
then
it-
I was like,
but it
he
worked.
does.
Like,
Yeah.
and
he was like, you need to
honestly-
pick a more contrasting color. And I was like, okay, red. Because I wanted the brand to be represented with a strength and a softness. Because like, I feel like we both have that. And I feel like as entrepreneurs, we're like strong, smart, knowledgeable, like driven, passionate, but we are also like understanding, and we've faced adversity, and we've and we're not, and we're very nice people, you know? So I think that those are represented well, but I wouldn't have come to that unless Dylan was like,
Meh.
no.
Bye.
And that was like a visual aspect. Dylan was like, great with pink, but like it doesn't contrast enough with yellow. And I
But,
was
like,
like, I don't know what
It's
he's
so,
saying.
to me, it's so fascinating that like just how much thought go into the colors
I
and just you
know.
describing like what the red means. Like it's powerful. And then the pink is like soft and feminine and like describing what each of those are like. So that branding is so intentional, you guys.
Because it evokes emotion in people. When you see red, you think,
Even if you don't necessarily know it.
yeah, it's subconscious.
It's a total subconscious. And of course, your own brand, it's going to mean so much more to you than it does to other people. But
Right.
what you want to do with your brand is you want people to think of you when they see things that are on brand to you that they wouldn't necessarily know. They might see a pink wall with red writing on it down the street and they'll be like, oh, I'm going to listen to the Nice Hair Podcast. They don't necessarily know that that's why they're listening to the Nice Hair Podcast, but something in their mind triggered that. Go ahead, Dylan. I know you want to start talking.
I was just going to say that's it. That's the goal.
Right.
Is you want visual cues to light up in people's brains.
to be subliminal.
And to make them think of you, your brand, what you're offering.
And that goes with like the font that you can use. Like we don't have really a specific font. We have our logo that was made that has kind of like a 90s like spunky.
Also,
feel to
shout
it.
out Grant.
Yeah, thanks,
for,
Grant.
For our logo. He's actually building our website that we need to talk about because we need to get on with
later
that.
point.
Yeah, later point. Sidebar. Write that down. But no, he did a really, really great job. And that's also something if you are wanting to do like a logo, even if it's just something with your name, you need to find somebody who is willing to work with you on what you're looking for. We kind of had an idea, but we also gave our Grant, who's our graphic designer, we gave him free reign to kind of, hey, this is what we have in mind. But like visually, if you put something together and you have a suggestion, kind of let us know. And he really did a great job he tweaked it multiple times before we really nailed it down. But he was so open to
He was good.
our feedback and getting it so that it represented us well that, I mean, we could not have asked for a better experience with him.
Yeah, find somebody that's professional and that like does that because they understand the impact that like different fonts and word placement and stuff will have. And pretty much like, I mean, I feel like we were like shitty clients too. I was like, I want like Miami Vice meets like Saved by the Bell. Can you like make that happen?
But like this is what I think Hannah and I do really, really well at. We are also great at kind of saying, this is what we have in mind, but you are the professional in this space. Please put your spin on it. Have fun with it. Because as creatives and as professionals in our industry, we appreciate when people do the same with us. This is what I have in mind, but kind of take the reins and go. I'll give you my feedback. I'll tell you what I think, but I appreciate somebody being like, hey, just like, hold on, let me come up with a couple things and then give me your feedback based on that. And that was one of the things that Grant did really, really well.
Yeah, he did. Like literally
He probably thought we were like the worst clients to deal with. Yeah. Because we were just like.
I sent him like 4 pictures of like Pinterest things we liked. And then I literally sent him like, I think like a Saved by the Bell logo. And I was like,
like that.
He's like so 90s-ish. I was
And
like,
we're
I
like,
don't know.
yeah, sure. But he killed it. So
Yeah, so don't be afraid to like source
outsource things that aren't your specialty.
for your brand.
Yeah.
I think too, going a level deeper than like a font or a color palette is understanding and to keep in mind that brands evolve over time naturally and organically. You don't sit down with yourself or with a group of people in one meeting and say, oh, got our brand figured out.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it's a evolution. Like Haley was saying, we're just working on our website. You can't rush the process because
It'll also overwhelm you like so hard.
yeah, and I think you have to do some work within your brand to know how to represent your brand first. You can't just have an idea and be like, I want to do hair. And so I like the color green and violet and now I'm a brand. Like, no, you have to like put in some work, see what speaks to you, whether it's colors or like textures or whatever visually. And then I think it's important to dig a little deeper and to do the work, like figuring out what your core values are. Like these are basic business things, you know? But
that's what branding is.
right.
know?
And
it's so weird. It all like ties on.
it does. And even in like our tag, like Haley and I are nice people committed to hair and business. Like, and that's what we are. And that's what this brand is that, yeah, sometimes we get on here and we like bitch about stuff. But at the end of the day, Haley and I really strive to just be like genuine, nice, like well-meaning people who are focused on hair and business. Like, and it's just that simple. But like, you have to kind of build it up and layer it to make it like a full-on brand too. You can't just like pick, like I was saying, a color or a font or a whatever and just that's your brand. It's just, it's layered like a personality.
Can I pose a question here?
Yes.
Where do you draw the line between marketability and honesty in your brand?
That's a good question.
Can you elaborate for me?
Yeah.
Okay, so say, you know, I'm just going to throw something out. So you know, cat videos on YouTube do so well.
Yeah.
And that's extremely marketable to show a cute cat video.
Right.
But say your company hates cats. You as a brand, say you too.
Okay. We hate cats. I'm allergic, so this
there you
isn't
go.
far off.
So you hate cats, and you're trying to sell your brand and make it as available and as marketable and as desirable to as many people as you can.
Okay.
As a business. But in your marketing, you don't want to be false because people hate fake marketing.
Ooh, I've got one.
Hold on. So what does this have to do with cat videos?
You want to use a cat video in your marketing,
But we personally hate cats.
Yeah.
As a brand, do we hate cats, or as individuals representing the brand?
The cats is just an example.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can still love cats.
Okay.
But this is for our example. You hate cats right now.
Okay.
But like, you know, we're gonna post. Our brand is posting a
Something
cat video. We're like, hey, we've been watching YouTube. We see all these cat videos doing really well.
Okay.
We're gonna post a cat video, but like, we do hate cats. So how do we post this and still make it on brand?
I just feel like find something else that's like trending. That's not something you hate.
No, but I already know how I would do it.
Tell me.
And it's not, to me, it's not phony. I'm going to post this cat video, but I'm going to talk about why I hate cats. I'm salty at cats because I'm allergic to them. Can I appreciate a cute cat video though? Yeah, I can. So to me, like, I mean, I really think you can.
I would just I would just skirt around it and post like a dog video and be like, cats are all the rage, but don't forget about dogs. You know, like I would just not like, I don't really like to shed light on things that are like not.
I think if I were going to post a cat video, I'd just say like, I hate this cat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm just like, that's just what I would say. But I would rather post a dog video.
So the question is, how do you stay current and like on trend and like relevant to your audience, even if you have to deal with something that like you don't love, kind of? I don't know. I almost just say be sincere and don't post something you don't love.
Personally. Oh, for sure.
You know?
Like if it's, and if you get questions about it or if it's something your audience is like curious about, I think you have to be honest about it.
Yeah.
But like, you're not going to go out of your way to like hate on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to have an opinion on something. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But I don't think you have to like drone on and on about like how much you hate whatever.
Yeah.
Even though we did just do an episode on MLMs. But I don't think we were like super negative about it. I just think we had an opinion on it. Brands have opinions as well. I think that's what's good to keep in mind. Like, I think sometimes by voicing a positive opinion about something, it's kind of shedding light on the fact that you have a negative opinion about what you're not talking
But
about.
you're also, no matter what your stance on something is, you're going to relate to somebody.
Right.
And when you're taking a stand for something, yeah, you're maybe saying to all these other people, like, we're going to disagree on this, but you're also going to be like relating to a whole another, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You're
Yeah,
relating to a
people.
whole another group of people. Yeah. And so that's how, and those are the type of people that you want to talk to. You want to talk to the people that you're relating to.
Yeah, because you value certain things and you're trying to reach people who value other
And
things.
that's your target market. I think that helps you narrow down your target market and your client demographic.
I think it's just as important to know who you're not trying to speak to as knowing who you are trying to speak to. I even, I grappled with that a little bit at the beginning of the podcast because I was like, Haley, are we trying to reach clients or are we trying to reach stylists? And I think Haley was like, well, both. And I was like, oh, okay.
And I think it's okay to reach both.
Yeah, because there's going to be clients who listen to this who learn things, and there's going to be people who aren't even involved in wanting to be our client or a stylist who are going to like get something out of this. But I think you shouldn't close off a market that is valuing like your content, like stylists, you know?
Yeah, if we would have been like, oh, we're only talking to clients,
Well,
then
that's rude.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're going based on social media, I would say a majority of my following is stylists.
Oh, absolutely.
But like 97% of my clients find me through Instagram.
Right.
So
isn't that crazy? That's another thing too, is it's like you have to be comfortable with being like, I think Haley and I have, you have to be comfortable with being a source of knowledge if you're going to act like you know stuff. Like at first I was like, man, like people ask me stuff like I didn't have anybody to ask. And then I was like, wait, but I'm like putting myself out there because I feel like I've learned a couple things. Like, why wouldn't I want to be a source of knowledge?
You have stuff to like share.
Yeah.
And
also, I don't know everything, so I'm not trying to say that. But like, it's funny how you kind of have to go back and like re-identify yourself with yourself. You know what I mean? To be able to move forward.
But it's also nice when, you know, as like people come to you with questions because you're like, I get why they are. Like, I wish I would have had somebody to come with questions too.
Yes.
So, but that all, you know, becomes a part of your brand. That's kind of what we wanted to do with our podcast. We get a lot of questions from clients, but also from stylists. And a lot of the questions are repetitive and it's totally fine. But we wanted to have one platform where we could just say, hey, I love this question. We actually have a whole entire podcast episode dedicated to this specific thing. Go check that out. So this podcast was so intentional. Branding it was so intentional.
And it's a constant work too. Like it's not like we've got it. Like, I mean, I think any good business is fluid. It's constantly moving. Like even just today, I was like, Haley, I need help with this. And she was like, okay, I'm going to take this over. Like it's okay to just like reassign tasks or even if it's yourself to be like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to hire somebody else to do whatever.
Yeah. Well, just for example, so Hannah and I have each built our personal brands. Mine was very unintentional. I didn't realize I was building a brand until I'd kind of built one.
Mine was way too hardcore at first because all I wanted was a color palette.
So,
and then I was like...
But then when we were starting our podcast, it was like we leaned so heavily on Dylan because like branding is what you can hear it when he talks about it, like how passionate he is about it, how excited he gets. So it's like he was a huge help for us where it was like we wouldn't have created a brand without him, where we kind of, talked with him, Hannah talked with him about what we were wanting, and then he just kind of went from there. So there's nothing wrong with outsourcing to help build your brand.
And I think it
doesn't make it less genuine to you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because it was like me coming to Dylan. Dylan didn't have any idea like where I was going or what I was doing with this. I think it's okay too to keep in mind that like even within a brand, if there are several people, like it's not going to be like 50-50 all the time, or, you know, 33-33-33. Like, I think some people have more weight in certain areas, like on like the color palettes or just on whatever. And just to let those people have that and know that, like, collectively when things come together as a brand, like, every person plays a different role and
You
brings
just have
something
to play
different.
your strengths, guys.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, knowing who you are.
Yeah, knowing who you are. And like, there are a lot of things about the podcast that I truly have zero interest in knowing and learning. And then there are other parts of it that I'm like, ooh, yeah, you know? So you just have to know kind of where you stand and be okay with it. And I don't know.
I think an important start too is to not to get too like existential or like gushy about this. I think an important start to branding yourself is to knowing what you will not compromise for, like knowing your core value, knowing what is like one or two words that that represent and will constantly represent like who you are and what you're doing. And that will help you kind of build a platform for where you're going and where you want to take your business. You know what I mean? Because I think like for nice hair, I think that Haley and I would both agree, like, if we picked a word or two, it would be like authentic or like sincere or, you know,
passionate.
Yeah. Yeah. And just keeping it real. And if we have to say something, even though it might not be popular, just to say it because that's who we are. So I think within yourself, no matter what you're doing, if you can just pick like a value, and you can even just Google core values and just like pick one that really resonates with you, and then kind of start from there and think like, how am I going to create services that that encompass this core value or set of core values? I know businesses usually pick like 4 or 5.
Yeah. It's just so important, whatever that looks like for you, that it's true to who you are. And I think that's where it gets hard with social media. It gets hard with watching everybody around you, because you initially think of these people as like inspiration, but then you like strive to be like them. But you have to also remember, like, you are who you are, and that's what makes you special. And you have to embrace that and be willing to like put yourself out there. And
Girl, you better shoot your shot.
Yeah, and just not get sucked into the whole like, well, this is me, but like I'm not, because
people
like
don't want to
so
see the
and
same
so.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's what makes this so fun and this so fascinating and great and wonderful, is like how different we all are. You know, we can all do the same thing. Hannah and I do the same extensions, but we are so different as people that we're relating to, we're marketing to, we're completely different clientele.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why this is so fun. That's why it's so fascinating to me.
And it opens up your world too, and kind of starts to expand your outlook on like reaching clients. Because, I mean, visually, if you were to look at Haley and I, we're just 2 white girls, okay, doing the same thing essentially. I mean, you know what I mean? But like when you really, really dial in on it, it's like we are so different that like when you start to break it down, there is such a plethora of like clients to reach, and like we're going to be reaching different clients, and like every single person is.
Your brand is helping you do that. Your brand is helping you reach, get, and have your ideal client like that. And that's what you want. That's your overall goal.
So, and keep in mind that your brand is nothing more too than like what you present to people. So if your brand does not include, for example, I don't put my kids on my social media stuff. Number 1, out of privacy. Number 2, out of respect for them. And number 3, not because being a mom isn't a part of my brand, because it plays a small part in my brand, but because like my focus is on like extra hair, which is like about making you feel good, which is about sexy. So like sexy to me doesn't always connect with like
your kids
having a kid around. So like I do intentionally separate those a little bit, because like in marketing they would call it your brand, which I know is weird, but like, or sorry. Your product's product. So like my product is hair extensions, but what I'm really selling is like feeling good. And then what feeling good really is being sexy as fuck. So like when I really dig deep into that, like being sexy AF doesn't always mean that you want to think about like being a mom in the moment.
And like going home and having to clean the toilet and do laundry. Like
right. So I intentionally kind of avoid a separation between those. But I also don't neglect or leave out the fact that I'm a mom. I post stuff like that, but you have to really think about like.
But I also think, and I hope this comes out how I intentionally mean it too. You're also, I think, marketing to a specific type of mom.
Yes. So I want people to keep in mind that I'm a mom, but I want to be like, but I'm a sexy mom, you know, like, and using that word loosely.
Totally. So you're like the mom that you're targeting, of course, as all moms do, love their children.
Right.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong and out of line in saying this. I do not think that your world revolves around your children.
I completely agree with that
Your
statement.
children are a part of your world, and you are going to, and there are moms who their world revolves around their kids, and that's fine.
I'm not one of those.
Me either. But you are going to relate to a mom who her children are a part of her life, yes, but she also has a lot of other things going on, and her first thought isn't, obviously you're going to make sure your kids are taken care of, but her first thought is not like, oh, I don't know, because it is your first thought.
No, I know what you mean. But if you're not good, you can't be good for your kids.
Yes.
So if you can add things to your, you know, it's like if you were a recipe that was going to feed your children, you would add things then that would satisfy your children even more, or like, you know what I mean? It's like, you want to be good for yourself so you can be good to the world.
Yeah.
Right?
So I hope I'm like saying that correctly and unoffensive to, because
Girl, you gonna offend somebody. Who cares? Haley and I are the same type of moms, though. That's the thing, is like, we're moms that understand that like we cut the umbilical cord at birth, and our job is to guide, be in charge of, show our children how to navigate the world, because one day they will be navigating the world, you know, by themselves as adults.
Right.
And we don't have any like pretense or like false thoughts about that. We're not like, you know, we're trying to raise adults, essentially, like, you know?
So, and here's another way we like kind of present, or at least Ava's on my social media, not a ton, but she's on there. But it's like kind of in a funny way. I actually get more messages of like, is Ava your daughter, your sister, or like, who
Girl,
is
y'all
she?
be looking like sissies.
I know. But so it's like she is a very big part of my life. Everybody knows that she is in it, but like my world does not stop and start around her.
Right.
I'm obsessed with her. I love her. She's
right.
The, best part of me, but she's not, I don't know.
It's like any other relationship or what, it's like with my husband, it's the same thing. Like they're an important part of your life, but like you have to be autonomous at some, like you have to be your own thing.
Yes, agree.
And like if you're
think the moms that you're relating to and the moms that you're marketing to have a very similar feel to that.
Yeah. And that's who I want to reach. I don't want to reach moms that like,
well, because no offense to the other moms, but like a lot of the other moms who like, there are specific moms that are like, I would never spend that much on my hair extensions. Like my kids need XYZ. Like I could never just imagine. And that's fine. 100% fine. That's not our target audience.
Right. Because I didn't stop where my kids started, I think is what you're trying. Like there's certain people that like, it's like where their kids or their marriage or whatever, or their job sometimes, it's like all of a sudden they stopped evolving as an individual or taking care of themselves as an individual because certain things started. It's like, no, we're all moving along together.
Yeah. But I think there's a phase of that for like,
Well,
I
yeah,
think,
girl, when you got an infant, you stop.
Yeah, I think there's like we've all been in that point where it's like I just need to keep this little shit alive.
Yeah, yeah. When you have like a, yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. And there were points.
So I think that also like that evolves. But
Yes, but
anyways, that's just I think a part of
no.
your brand.
Yeah, and
marketing.
so if you are an extension specialist that is a different type of mom, like then it's important to keep your kids on your social media for that reason because that's you. It's like it's just like I don't know. I think that you can beat yourself up about anything if you compare it to or think about the way someone else does something, but it's about like kind of isolating yourself and being like, what is important to me? What is valuable to me? What will resonate with other people and what will give value to other people?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whether it's like tangible value or just like a peace of mind where you feel like, oh, I'm glad I'm not alone.
Right.
And ultimately, being a successful brand just boils down to producing like things that bring value to people
Totally.
so that they want to keep coming back.
Yeah, that's the goal. So
Yeah.
hopefully that was helpful, guys.
Branding is just a lot, though.
It is, but it's really fun.
It's a lot. It is fun. It's a never-ending process,
yes, and it's cool. Like your brand can evolve with you too. Like that's
And it
the
should.
other, and as it should, yeah. Because
if you look at
you're
big brands,
growing.
yeah. If you look at
changing,
big brands, even big brands over time. Like think about how many recognizable fonts like Nike has. Like Nike has like the original kind of cursive Nike, and then they have like a blocky Nike sign. Like, so they use different elements, big brands do, that still are recognizable to their brand, but are consistent about things. And even the biggest, most successful individuals or businesses sit down, reevaluate, and restructure things as needed.
right?
So be flexible with yourself.
Flexible.
Be nice to yourself too.
Find a great color scheme.
Yeah, live healthy too.
Hire where you're not good.
That's why I have a personal trainer. It's embarrassing, really, when I talk about it.
What?
That I have to pay someone money to make me move my own body.
I have a coach also. I think it's accountability.
I'm ashamed of myself.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be.
I know, I'm just kidding.
It's like the same thing as like having a business coach. Like you're having somebody who is further along in the process than you, hold you accountable, be a mentor.
If I was super wealthy, I would have everyone doing everything.
I would have a personal chef.
I would have a personal chef. I would for sure
have a driver.
I'd probably still drive myself.
I would love to have a driver.
I would have like a house person. One of my clients and I were talking about this the other day. She's like, and she's at the space where she can afford this, but she's like, I just want somebody to be at my house every day for like 4 or 5 hours from like whatever, 9 to 1 to like reset my house. And I was like, that's a perfect way to say it because like they're not necessarily, I mean, they could deep clean every once in a while, but they're like,
just like to follow you around and pick up all this stuff that.
Yeah, or my kids or my.
Yeah, I get it. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think that was
guys.
a good episode.
Same. Hopefully you guys
start inside and then find your color palette.
Yeah.
Find your core values. Find out who you want to talk to.
Be yourself.
Who's going to resonate with you.
Be
and
genuine.
then pick some colors. That's my advice.
Pick your colors.
Okay.
Okay. We love
Happy
you guys.
branding. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.